you get dog hair, I apologize.
What's that? Oh, you're
Dog
fine.
hair.
Stephanie, yesterday Richard had an MRI. Tell us what happened.
Well, it was just one of those things where outwardly we were seeing so much improvement, and the doctor was just amazed because he watches him on Facebook. And so we went in, and I felt pretty confident that it would be good news, but I had no idea that I would be blown away by the immensity of how amazing Richard has progressed, and his, it's almost gone. You can't get better than that.
When the doctor came to the room to tell you the results, and you heard it's almost gone, what happened?
Well, he came in and said there's good news and started showing me, and I immediately, because I've looked at those enough that I could tell right away. And I couldn't do anything but cry. I was speechless. I was in shock and just amazed, and happiest day ever.
When you think back through this journey, I mean, it's been quite a journey. And when we first talked, Richard couldn't sit up, he couldn't do half the things he's doing now, and now he's like a normal, 8-year-old kid?
Normal 8-year-old kid.
I mean, when you think about all that, and he hasn't had medical treatment since December, how?
God. God showed up and decided to use us to prove his capabilities, and I couldn't be more grateful to that. I know some people wouldn't be able to understand us having gratitude for having had such a trying year and having had so many ups and downs, but when I look at everything that's coming from this story now, I see the reason, and I'm full of gratitude that God saw fit to allow us to be his vessel, to show, what he's capable of.
Richard, you told me Richard told you the day before that he was going to be better. What were you thinking when he told you that?
I was just like, oh, I love this kid. I love his spirit. I love his faith. I love his strength. And I when he said it, I was just like, and it's a relief, because I spent that whole day before just had a heaviness on me. Didn't really feel like doing anything outside of what I had to do. And then that night, he said that in the afternoon, and then that night when I went to bed and I'm alone and it's dark and I'm thinking of it all, it was, I got overcome with emotion. It just, all the heaviness from the day just poured out of me, and I wrote on my personal page and was like, I'm feeling worried. And somebody was like, we already know what's going to happen. Richard claimed it earlier. And I just smiled. I was like, you know what? That's right. And I'm going to let this anxiousness go away.
I saw that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You guys have done a lot in the past, 10 months?
A lot.
More than most people probably do in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And to know you've done everything you can for your son, and now to get this amazing news that this miracle has happened, what's next?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. He's going back to school, that's for sure. Yay. We're going to get some learn on. But we still have to figure some things out, but no more hospice, it's looking like, and we'll get him back in school and get him on the road to recovery. He'll be taking physical therapy and speech to help him regain things that he hasn't been able to do on his own. And he hasn't walked since December, so it's going to be a little bit to get him there, but I don't think it'll take too long.
Looks like he's lost some weight too.
Yeah, he has. He's down to 71 pounds.
When you see him moving now, though, compared to, say, December, January, February, where he couldn't sit up on his own. Now he's moving around, fighting with you, sitting up on his own, playing video games on his own. I mean, what kind of emotions for a mom is that to see such
I love
a
it.
drastic change?
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, you don't. I mean, there's just not words that can, you know, really tell you how I feel about that. It's just I watch him, and you know, February, March, he was like an infant with the mind of a, at that time, 7-year-old. And here we are in mid-September, and he's starting to, you know, get those skills back, and it's astonishing. I love it.
How's the
I love
faith, you talked about that a lot, how has that helped you through these last 10 months?
I couldn't have survived this without that, because God has carried me through some of the darkest moments of my life over the past year. You know, we planned a service. We picked out a plot. You know, when I decided that if this is God's will, it's okay, here he is. We did all that, and there's no parent that should ever have to feel that pain. But I knew I had to do it then, or I couldn't do it later. But I knew that God's promise is that He will give us all of the joy as long as we honor Him and live our lives for Him. And He's done that. I posted today, you know, I feel like Abraham today because, I mean, not that I can really compare myself to somebody so amazing, but, you know, I gave my child to him, my son, and God said, no, I believe now that you trust me, and He's healed him.